I Am PR Agency LLC is a vital resource for artists of all genres, labels and brands globally who need a solution to secure the most amount of impressions on all media platforms, TV, online, print, radio, at the most affordable rate. I Am PR Agency not only consults and teach its clients on how to develop, market and monetize their brand, we also provide one of the most important metrics in marketing: reach and awareness. That data is calculated from accumulated reach generated from Twitter reach, Facebook engagement, and email marketing stats. It is through those platforms that the press and general public become fans of your brand over time and get to know you. Your fame score is determined by the level of your impressions. It is data because it measures the growth of your brand throughout the lifetime of the campaign. The main appeal of I Am PR Agency is its reporting component. We invented a reporting system that proves return on investment through PR, which is something that no other music PR has. The average publicist simply compares PR versus advertising. Our agency, on the other hand, compares all of your impressions, all of your press placements, and all the relationships that are being built on your behalf into a reporting model where you can clearly see week after week whether or not you are making progress. Visit our website, www.impragency.com, or give us a call today at 770-635.
Of your as a business or a nonprofit organization and the public organization or individual gaining exposure to their audiences using topics of public interest and news items that do not require direct payment. This differentiates it from advertising as a form of marketing communications. The aim of public relations is to inform the public, prospective customers, investors, partners, employees, and other stakeholders, and ultimately persuade them to maintain a certain view about the organization, its leadership, products, or political decisions. Public relations should maintain relationships with an organization's target audience, the media, and other opinion leaders. Common activities include designing communications campaigns, writing news releases and other content for news and feature articles, working with the press, arranging interviews for company spokespeople, writing speeches, so on and so forth. Writing website and social media content, facilitating internal employee communications activities. Success in the field of public relations requires a deep understanding of the interests and concerns of each of the client's many publics. The public relations professional must know how to effectively address those concerning using the most powerful tool of the public relations trade, which is publicity. So I'm going to, even elaborate on that further and go more into saying that, understanding your specific public, and I Am PR Agency, we usually call it a niche, or we call it a, we call it a market, but a lot of other people will call it a public. But understanding how to communicate with the public, understanding how to get that public on your side, understanding how to get that public to do what it is that you want them to do, which is to write, post, and talk about you so that you can then leverage that public's buzz and excitement and engagement that you have developed into cash flow. That is the ultimate goal of I Am PR Agency. So for example, if you go back to the webinar that we did 2 weeks ago about content is king, that's one way of constantly engaging the public. What we here at I Am PR Agency do, and one thing that separates us from other PR agencies, is that we understand not just the music public, but we understand the internet public as a whole. And as far as the internet public is concerned, we understand that they don't like to read very long press releases. They don't like to read, they don't like to go through a whole bunch of information just to get to the content. We understand that the public, which is the press, that's the public, and their public, which is, the fans and the, the general public, general people, the masses, they just want to get right to the content. They just want photos. They just want videos. They just want to get right to the heart of it. Nowadays, people do not want to feel like they're being sold. People do not like that. People want to feel as if they are discovering something, as if they are contributing to someone's buzz. That's part of the reason why I'm always explaining to our clients, focus on creating content, focus on developing content, focus on, providing consistent marketing content to the masses, to your fan base, to us, so that we can then provide it to the press. That is the secret to hitting your goals consistently over time, and also monetizing. So when it comes to people saying that that they can be their own publicists simply because they post a couple tweets on Twitter once or twice a week or once or twice a month, I'm doing my own PR because, I got 10,000 followers on Twitter. PR has nothing to do with tweeting. PR has nothing to do with Facebook. What PR has to do with is understanding a message and zoning in on the people who care about that message, and constantly and consistently communicating that same message over and over and over again to that public, but in a way that makes it feel as if they formed the idea about your brand themselves. So, for example, when IMPR does press for IMPR itself, so for example, when Olivia gets herself in an interview, or when I'm getting interviews for myself, or when we get interviews for the company or something that the company has done, the first thing that we do is we make sure that in the language of every press release or every piece of interview that we do, we make sure that we drop the company name and the company tagline, the key to your success, multiple times. We try to tie that in with how we're phrasing and wording the question, or phrasing our answer. So for example, if somebody says, what is it that you guys do with independent artists? How do you help them reach their goals? I would answer that question more along the lines of, IMPR agency helps independent clients reach their goals by being the key to their success. And how we become the key to their success is by helping them create, manage, and market their materials for one low, affordable cost. So within that question, you've got many pieces of information. You now know the name of the company. You now understand 2 times I mentioned in that answer that we are the key to your success. So that's a little inception right there. And also, we also dropped the fact that we're affordable in there. So if anyone's reading that interview, they're going to form the opinion on their own that says, oh, well, maybe I should go check out IMPR. I'm going to hire them because, I feel they're the most affordable. When in reality, it was very targeted to the people reading it, the way that I worded my answer. As far as, people trying to do their own PR, I would say it took me several years and many mistakes to understand how to properly put together a PR campaign and how to properly achieve sustained, consistent results using PR. And it is a lot of work. You do need a specialist. For example, when I was an artist myself, I did try to do publicity myself, and it's not possible. I had to have Olivia help me. And I'm not saying this just because I work for a PR company. I'm saying this because if you're actually doing real public relations, you don't have the time to reach out. And I'm not just talking about tweeting on Twitter. You don't have the time to reach out to hundreds of blogs and weed through a whole bunch of yeses and nos and maybes and follow-ups and everything that it takes, all the deal making and arm pulling and phone calls, everything that it takes to even secure press in the beginning, especially when you're not really known. You don't have the time to do the research because PR is 90% research. We spend a lot of time combing the internet, looking at data, looking at analytics, finding blogs, contacting blogs, following up with blogs, hitting up blogs on Twitter. It's a whole lot of information management, more so than it is securing press and getting press. Even if there's a client who can easily get press, that's even more information management, because now we have to coordinate all of the messages to make sure that all of the messages are in key and in brand with each other. So for example, if a celebrity gets an interview on one website, we make sure that the message matches the same interview on another website, because if he's now saying two different messages to the same public, you're not going to get any result. No one will rally to your cause. Another thing about PR, and as far as information management, is also contact management. When a publicist builds a relationship for a particular artist or a particular celebrity or a particular business or spokesperson or whatever, what they're really doing is setting up a free advertising network. That's basically what it is, especially with the internet. So for example, if you're an artist and you worked with us for a year and we've gotten you a minimum of say 100 press placements over the year, right? And that's assuming, you're doing like what some of our star clients do, which is, lots and lots of constant content. And by star clients, I don't mean celebrities. I mean, our rock star indie clients who just are super duper active. What you will start to see at that point is you will start to see that every time you post something or every time you do something, you now have a whole network of blogs that will support you. So a perfect example is our client Joy Villa, who got, I'm pretty sure she got at least 100 plus press placements in the time that she has been retaining us. At this point, we are currently prepping a new album for her, and I'm pretty certain that when we drop this new album, she will get a placement on each one of those sites, because they are watching and they are supporting her, and they're just waiting for that next piece of, big content that they can take and distribute and move, en masse. So with that being said, that becomes like an advertising network, because then if we can get 100 press placements out the gate after taking a year and a half to build up that network, all of a sudden Joy Villa is going to be the talk of the town. She's going to be the talk of all the major sites, because the major sites are looking for the ones who can route traffic, which I also talked about before in past webinars, that you can check on impragency.com. But what you're going to end up seeing is that she's going to start getting a whole lot more mainstream level press after that initial burst of 100 or so blogs tweeting about her all at the same time. So that effectively becomes like advertising, but the difference is, instead of paying $5,000 per blog to get that level of exposure, she just put in sweat equity and a smaller level investment into IMPR, and that was able to get her the same result. So with that being said, with the internet, there's no need to, go out there and spend tens of thousands of dollars on advertising campaigns like we've done in the past at IMPR. There's no need to go out there and try to, spend a lot of money doing stuff. For one low rate, one low cost, IMPR agency could basically set you up with a press network over a period of time, because we're actually building relationships on your behalf in the press by promoting you and what makes you special and you unique. So it really has more to do. So being the key to your success is us having the network and the infrastructure to blast out content on the level that a celebrity would be distributing content, but for independent artists. Whereas the independent artist now simply needs to just create, the content for us to push. So, as far as PR and what is it exactly, just understand that PR is about getting people on your side, getting people to do things for you without you having to put out much cash flow. So, for example, if you were doing advertising, and let's say you wanted XXL to really, put you on a freshman cover and really post about you a whole lot and, say that you're the hottest thing coming since sliced bread. You have two ways you could do that. Either you can cut XXL a very, very big check for advertising, and on the low, they'll write a series of editorials about you, matching your contribution. So let's say you give them 10,000, they might write one really good editorial about you. You give them 50,000, they might write 2 or 3. We've had that situation happen in the past with a few clients where they've paid magazines and those magazines gave them very favorable editorials. Or you could do it the way that IMPR Agency has done it for years, which is build a relationship with the blog by promoting what it is that you're doing, whether they pick it up or not. So, for example, PR is more than just getting the placement. That's an end result. PR is about making sure people see and understand what it is that you do. So if we get a placement for a client, we promote that. If me and Olivia went to an event, we promote that. If, even if I was performing at an open mic, we promote that. Even if it didn't matter what it was. Even if I met, even if I met, some has-been celebrity, I'll make sure to take a photo. Even back when I was an artist, even if I were to perform for 10 people, I would make sure at the end of my set, I would take a photo with those 10 people and promote that. It didn't matter what it was. We just made sure that we promoted things to a large enough audience consistently over a long period of time. And what ended up happening is as we would walk down the street, people will come up and say, "Oh, Dave, I saw the photo of that show. It looked really cool. I'm going to be at the next one." Or, someone might tell Olivia, "Hey, Olivia, really good job on that PR campaign you did for such and such. That was cool." We would wonder, how would they know about that? And I said, of course they know about that because they're receiving the emails. People are reading them. We do have the data to prove that people are reading it. So with that being said, think of PR as your personal newspaper to the world. The same way the Wall Street Journal publishes news from all over the world and you keep up with what they're doing, or the same way a blog publishes what rappers are doing all over the world. It's the same way that us as a PR company, we're publishing what you do specifically out to the world, to a specific public that will care about what it is that you're talking about. Don't worry so much about the placements. So many people out there are paying for placements, paying for what are essentially advertisements, mainly. And the reason why I call it that is because these so-called publicists don't build relationships with any of the press for you. They just call in favors so that they can get a quick paycheck from you. They're not interested in working you for extended periods of time. They only want to work you for 1 month or 2 months. Or a really good sign of a publicist that's not building relationships is that they get you a whole bunch of press in like a week, but the next time you hire them again, they don't get you as much press. Or you hire them again and you don't get picked up again. Why? Because the first time was a favor, or the first time they might have cut some sort of deal with the blog to get some of the retainer. We see that happen a lot. But a publicist is primarily meant to build relationships with a mass community on your behalf so that you don't have to go about pitching and following up and sending the emails. You can just focus on creating and producing content, which is what all artists need to be doing nowadays. So that's basically it for what public relations is. That is public relations. If you are a client, keep sending us content. If you're not a client, check out our blog, impragency.com. And make sure that you guys tune in next week, because next week we are going to be talking about new business models for artists. So many artists are always trying to sell music, and personally, music doesn't sell and it doesn't have that great of a margin. Too many artists are still trying to get record deals, and record labels have no money. So, and they don't do anything for you anyway. You still got to do all the work and come up with the money regardless. So with that being said, I've devised a new business model that I think could benefit every artist, so much so that IMPR Agency is even doing this model. We're doing this model ourselves. So, it is a model that works because we've made money doing this for many, many years, doing things like shows, doing it with other artists. We've even done it this year with several artists, 4 successfully funded Kickstarter campaigns this year alone from our clients. So with that being said, tune in next week and make sure you guys check out impragency.com. And, you know, let's keep it moving, guys. And we're going to close out with the video again. All right, I guess the video must be broken. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you, you know, check out all the other webinars for any information, especially Google Analytics or things that you need, okay?